Hey y'all, so before I head out for school today, I want to talk about this baby, this brick that has been keeping me company for the last 3 weeks, month. I realized as I was sitting down for this video that I've never read a book this long in my life. I think the closest I got to was It. But I don't even think, no, I didn't finish that book even. I got sick of it. So yeah, 900 pages almost of this behemoth. Cool thing that I found while I was reading about this, when I was reading this book is how the spine cracks as you move through it. And look how many lines there are because it's so fat. Like every time I spent a lot of time on this page, the spine would crack here. Then I spent a lot of time on this page, it would crack here. Like in different sections of the book. And it's really cool. Like I've never experienced the creasing of a spine to this extent because I've never read a book with such a fat spine. I'm drinking this Japanese green tea. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like very matcha-y. Like green tea is matcha, but this one's like extra matcha-y. Has matcha properties to its taste. It's really fire. And like I had green tea from McDonald's yesterday, and it was like Higgins and Burke. No shade to Higgins or Burke, but I'm sure you guys are nice, but it don't do it for me. And after I started going to a tea shop and getting loose leaf tea, and drinking authentic tea, like I can't go back to grocery store shit. So when we talk about DUNE, I love this book. This book took me everywhere and talked about everything, and like that's what everyone says about DUNE, but I didn't even think about what I'm gonna say for this video. I'm gonna sit on my knees. Am I? I didn't even think about it because I finished the like author's note last night, but the actual book I finished a couple days ago, and I wanted to pop in and talk about this because I'm about to start reading another book, but I want to get my thoughts out about this. I think that obviously the world building is insane. I don't want to say what like everyone has said about this book, but everyone's fucking right. Like the characters, the plot lines, like expand, and I don't think there was a single boring page in the story. The epilogue was kind of boring because it was like a dictionary of all like the terminology. I didn't like read through every single word because it's literally like, wait, let me show you. Wait, what is it? Yeah, it's literally like a alphabetical dictionary. Like it starts from A. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, like it goes from A to like Z, and I read a couple of these like pages, a couple of these words, but whatever. Did you guys know that Frank Herbert, the dude, he knew Alan Watts, and his family friend's wife worked with Carl Jung, and Frankie over here talked to her all the time, which makes so much sense about the way he writes about like transcendental and spiritual things, which is like a really big reason why I love this book, is that it's not just about like space wars, and it's actually not that much about space like at all. There's like space like governments and stuff, but they operate as like governments like in the world, so the space factor is not even that big of a thing. Like what was I gonna say about, what was I talking about? Dude, my brain is not very cooperative with me today. I'm gonna be honest, I woke up scattered. But I have a feeling I'm gonna feel better after this video. Oh, the spiritual stuff that he writes about. Like, there's like a whole part where Paul's the main guy, his mom, Jessica, like she takes this, obviously I don't want to spoil, but she takes this like psychedelic weird drug, and like just the description, like it's like I couldn't stop turning the pages. Like his words go beyond words when he writes, and but it all makes sense. Like through words, he's talking about things that don't have words and it makes sense. So that shocked me. And like there were definitely a handful of words I didn't understand, like not just like the words he made up, but like actual like English words. I didn't understand, but with context, because of how much context there is and how eloquent he puts sentences together, it is really easy to get the tone of what he's trying to say, and how most of this book, when it's not like dialogue between the characters, is so poetic. Like it's like actual poetry. And at the beginning of every chapter, I love that this was a thing. At the beginning I was confused because it just like oh, and like the culture of the freemen, who are the native population of the planet that Paul and Jessica, they're like Paul's dad is like the duke of a different planet, and then they end up coming to this new planet, and there are freemen are like the native people of it. And what was the point of me? Oh, and the freeman culture is so rich, and they literally have poems and songs, and so does like Paul's like where he comes from. Like Gurney is like his mom, his like parents is like, what did he do? He's like one of the lieutenants or whatever, and he has like an instrument called a baliset, and he like plays a lot of songs, and he's known for it. And it's like all these characters are so real and have so many layers. And I wanted to talk about like these preface, they're not prefaces, I don't know what to call them, but when you start a chapter, there's like this paragraph usually, and it says something different. And at the bottom, it's mostly all written by Princess Irulan, and you don't find out who she is until the end of the book. So like I was confused, obviously, especially the first few chapters when I'm just diving into the book. Like literally the first page is like about Princess Irulan, and you're like, who is she? And you don't find out until the end. And for example, literally the first line of the book is, a beginning is the time for taking the most delicate care that the balances are correct. And that's a saying that literally comes back like maybe like 400 pages in, and they start talking like about these sayings and like drops of wisdom that are like dropped at the beginning of each chapter. You kind of see how they ended up weaving themselves through the story. So it's not like this is irrelevant. It's like, it's giving you almost like a piece of the future before you actually get to that part in the book, but you don't even realize you're getting a piece of the future. Like you don't realize or think about how that could possibly interweave with the book. And as I'm saying this out loud, that's actually like parallel to how Paul experiences, and like his mom, and like the Ben Gesserit, is that how you pronounce it? Like women experience like what Frank Herbert, the author who wrote it, calls prescience. I'm sure that's like a real word that describes the actual thing, but I never heard of the word prescience. And how like you're in multiple places at the same time, and you're like very like aware and like conscious, and like there's no past, present, future, and it all like collapses on itself. And now that I'm speaking about these like intros about the chapter, it's like kind of as a reader, you're experiencing like glimpses of the future while you're also trying to understand the present, and how that ties into the history of the houses and the governments and the freemen. And this is genuinely one of the monumental books in science fiction. Thing is, I haven't read enough science fiction books to actually have a comparison, but yeah. And my attention span is absolutely magnifique now. Literally yesterday I was walking at school, and there were these paintings that someone painted, and they left it in like the main lobby of my school. Like they hung it up, it's not like they were abandoned. And I just stared at them for like 10 minutes, I think, and I was standing there, and like people were walking by, they like glanced at them for like 20 seconds at most, 30 seconds at most, and I was just standing there like I was like hypnotized by it. And I don't remember the last time I got like sucked into a painting and just like stared at it. There were like 3 paintings by the same girl, but I don't remember that happening to me. And I feel like the presence that this book, like how it sucked me out of the real world, and like hours would melt by, like, and I would just be reading this, like really showed me. And like created an experience for me to be like so immersed in something for like such a, well, like 3 weeks is a pretty long time to be immersed in like a world. Compare that to like a movie or a YouTube video, you know what I mean? And like that bled into other parts of my life, like this presence and this like ability to immerse myself. And reading this book is like, I feel like I expanded as the story plot expanded. Like my capacity for understanding obviously expanded of the story, but my just capacity as like a human person to like hold more truth at the same time, hold like conflicting truths and like conflicting parts of my life and personal parts of my life and goals, and like it like expanded me as a person and expanded my capacity to hold. That's what I said. That's what I'm trying to communicate. And my capacity to be patient, right? Because you gotta be patient to read this book. But I'm just shocked how there wasn't a single page out of these, like the actual stories, like I think 800 pages, 100 pages, like epilogue. Out of these 800 pages, there wasn't a single page that I was like trying to get over it. Like there were pages where I was like kind of like falling asleep reading them and I'm like trying to understand them because I'm like tired, but there was not a single page. Like that's insane. Like to be able to hook a reader for 800 pages and every page is like engaging and building and purposeful and every word is purposeful. Like he wasn't like trying to, like everything like was purposeful. And I read in the epilogue how he literally spent 4 years planning it before he even started writing it, like doing research about sand and ecology and like, oh, there's this saying in the book that ecology is the study of consequences, and that's such an interesting way to look at it. And that's something that Frank learned in like real life and then kind of sprinkled that into the book through a character named Kynes, who's like an ecologist, and there's more depth about him by the end in like the epilogue, because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's so interesting, especially when I got the perspective at the end about how the author like literally weaved his own life into this like out of this world book. It's so beautiful, it's so awesome, and I wanted to like eat this book. Even now, like I'm opening pages and I'm like, I could get lost in this for like a year and just only read this. Well, I don't know about a year, but like I could literally reread this book right now and it's gonna be a completely different experience. And that's what the author wants, because at the end it's not like there's a resolution. There's not like anything. It feels like it's literally just the beginning. When I like got to the end of the book, it feels like it's just the beginning of something else. And that's why there was like, I guess like, I don't know, like 20 books for Dune, but there's like 6 that Frank actually wrote, and the rest was like his son and stuff, like putting them together. So I really want to want to read the next one, Dune Messiah. And at the end of the book, it kind of gave me a little hint about what it's going to be about. But I think I'm going to take a break from Dune for a little bit. I have a book called Calypso by David someone. I saw it at the his last name's not someone. David, I forgot his last name. And I'm excited to read it. It seems like a lighthearted read. It's probably like 200 pages. Any book is going to like fucking like read like this now after this. So I'm going to do a lighthearted read. And then I wanted to tackle the Iliad. It's not as long as I thought it was going to be. I think it's like 400 pages. Well, again, everything is short compared to this now. So I want to read the Iliad because even here, like Frank was talking about at the end, references to like Greek mythology and Greek stories, and like obviously they're everywhere in all culture. So I feel like reading the Iliad is a wonderful idea, and the language, like I skimmed the book a little bit, doesn't seem too crazy other than like all the names of things. And I already know, like I'm sure I already know some references and things just from being a human person existing in this culture. But Dune is wonderful, and like the twists and turns, and man, do I got anything else to say about this? Let me sip my tea. I am like, since I read The Venomous Lumpsucker and now I'm reading this, like science fiction is fire. Like I was gonna say 10 to rate it. It's definitely really well rated. Like people fuck with science fiction. I didn't watch Star Wars. Try watching it. I should. I wanna get into this kind of shit because it's awesome. And like, I really liked the way the Freeman culture was so. Oh my god, there's a pen on the white couch. I definitely did that. Oops. A while ago. I love how the Freeman culture is at first so shocking to Paul because like, and like his squad from their planet called Caladan before they came to Arrakis, which is the planet that the Freemen are on. And Caladan was like this like basically lush water. I pictured like a rainforest, ecosystem, light, love, every human is thriving kind of country, planet. And they come to Arrakis, it's literally the opposite. It's sand, only sandstorms, horrible conditions, water. Water is more precious than anything. And people like wear still suits that like literally trap their body's moisture and like give it to them through a straw that they can like drink. And people kill over water. In the Freeman culture, like when someone dies, like they like basically recover their water, and just like the whole ceremony of that, and how their patience, like they have this plan with the ecologist kinds to bring water back to Arrakis and to develop like an ecosystem there so that the future generations, literally 300 to 500 years, like are able to thrive on Arrakis because there are little signs of life and it's possible. And somewhere along the book, again, I don't want to spoil like the relationship between Freeman and the waters and how foreign that is to Paul because he's just like grown up, obviously water raining from the sky, and he was like explaining it to them. They're like, what the fuck, like you know. I just love the culture shock of the Freeman to Paul because that is just like so real, and so like forces him to face discomfort, a lot of discomfort. Obviously this whole book is about surviving in the desert and like, bro, I don't have words. Just fucking read Dune. Like just say fuck it, open this book and read it, because epic. 10 out of 10, bitch.